is a must. So,
Absolutely.
my last question to you is about the American dream. We study American studies here, and one of the goals is for the students to understand the American way of life and the
Mhm.
roots of the American dream. Do you believe that you have achieved it? Are you seeking it? Does it exist? Tell us what your definition is of the American dream.
Okay. I still believe in the American dream. I feel that from the outside, people might think, "Wow, I've done this and I've done that, and I've made it, and I've." Um, Someone that really truly knows where I come from. It's I feel that I've accomplished it with my spirit. I have a very strong, um, passionate spirit and soul. And I believe that anyone that lives in our world, if they have a dream of coming to America and whatever that American dream means to them, that there is always that possibility. I feel that no matter what you do, it requires dedication, hard work. It requires a plan. It requires it. So every now and then things happen. Like when I was younger, oh, are you a singer? I got put in a female band. Oh, opportunities that happen in our lives that are just magical. And but oftentimes those things don't last. So what it really takes, if you have in your mind, I speak to people all the time on social media, and they live in third world countries. And I talk to them and I say, you know, you don't give up. If you're not happy at your job, you go and seek another job. Never stay somewhere that doesn't feed you or nourish you. Okay. There is an American dream that I have accomplished. And where it comes from is it comes from inside. I have done what I have done for me, and that is very fulfilling for me. Okay. And of course, there's other things that I'd like to accomplish. I don't live in a house. I raised my boys, and I live in a house. I live in an apartment. Okay. But I want to get, my dream home, or I want to do this. Well, guess what I'm doing? I'm working on doing those things, and I will accomplish what I set my mind to. So I just feel that never give up. If you want to come to America and strive for a better way of life, because it's the land of the free and democracy. Of course, there's a lot going on now everywhere in the world, and I'm still grateful to live in America. I really am. Although
I
it,
love that you said that because there's a lot of pessimism and a lot of negativity towards America from people who don't really know what it's like. So when you talk about the American dream from your perspective, it
Mhm.
is exactly deeply rooted in working hard and accomplishing your dreams.
Dream, what is it without the desire?
Dream for you and how close
It's just being in the right place or the right city to get it done. So, if you create your goals and what it is that you want to do, then you have to put forth that effort to make sure that you go and get it. Now, I'm not going to say that it was easy, growing
Yes,
up in
I
the
I
South.
love that you're touching on
Yeah.
dreams because
Hmm.
we here in Norway, we study in books the American dream. What is the
Hmm.
American dream for you, and how close do you think you are to it? And what would you, on top of everything that you have gone through, would say is a recipe for succeeding?
My American dream is to just be happy, to have my family, to be surrounded by my loved ones, and to be able to give my family and my children everything that they need to thrive. So at the end of the day, what is life without people you love? What is life without having someone to share it with? So some people may have these, and I used to have those, like, I just want to be, famous and known and blah, blah, blah. But it's like so many people that are famous and lonely and in pain. So it's like you really want to find out what you really, really desire. You don't want to have to work. You want to be able to have you want to be able to, like, when I say work, you don't want to go to a job that you hate. You want to go to a job that you love, that you enjoy. And as they say, when you find a job that you love, you'll never work a day in your life. So it's about finding those passions, those things that you absolutely love. And for me, the thing that drives me and motivates me the most is my family. Yeah. So, American Dream, what is it without love and people to share it with? It doesn't matter where it's at.
Yes, that's
America
perfect. That's
or
perfect because
anywhere.
we have, like you said about the United States, there is this idea that if you can make it there, you can make it anywhere. You will go and
Oh,
you will
mhm.
be rich. But then there are steps that you have to take to get to that dream. Now, I want to talk about
environment. And so, like, am I really growing up in the right environment where I have a parent that's not accessible? Am I growing up in the right environment?
what tell them what 50 grand is.
The average is 30,000. So, you know,
Your life philosophy, how you live your life and the values that you have, your foundation for you and your family, those are very special. So I'm glad you're sharing this with
yeah,
us. One thing that
yeah,
I ask all of the guest speakers from the United States, there is a chapter on the kids book where they talk about the American dream in concept, but I want you to tell us what that American dream is as a real American citizen, somebody who is a person of color. I'm not sure if you're mixed or if you're full, it doesn't matter, but you are a person of color. So
yes.
please tell us, what is the American dream for you?
Okay. So I'm gonna give it to you uncut. So the American dream is to have a house and a white picket fence, to have a family, and to be a millionaire. And I just want to let you know that, the average person in America makes about 50 grand a year. And that's good. That's not even average, really 30. The average
Tell
person
them what tell them what 50 grand is.
oh my bad, $50,000. And that's doing very well. So you think about, if the American dream is to be a millionaire, to have a house and a white picket fence and to have a family, that it's very difficult for to be able to accomplish that making $50,000 a year, but really the average is 30,000 a year. And so you realize most of the time you're here in America and you're working. You're not even being able to enjoy that life because you're constantly at work. So even if you had the family and had the picket fence and 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 had those things, it's set up for you to be working. Um, so my experience here in this American dream is it's struggle. It's really struggle. I mean, from the beginning, I have my parents are still together, and so I'm fortunate. 47% of African American women in the U.S. is raising their families by themselves. 47% literally is raising their family by themselves. So for me to grow up with my mother and my father is huge. It really is. And so, but even growing up with my mother and my father, like, you got to think about the lack of tools that they had for generations. So I ended up in special education. They wasn't able to get a tutor for me, and I had both parents, two incomes. My mother, she cleaned houses. My father, he worked his whole life at Avon printing. And so I didn't even know my father spoke till I turned like 13. He spent most of his time in front of television. My mother spent most of her time working and being domestic. When I was able to spend time with my mother, it was actually on the job and helping her clean. I found a love for cooking and cleaning because I wanted to be around my mother. My father, when he got off work, you know, all he wanted to do was relax. And so even if you had a two-parent household, you got to see like you have children. So think about the American dream is to have children, and you have children, and most parents don't realize like they're working. We have a house, you have children, but who's cultivating these children?
Right now, version
Yes,
of what happened
yes.
in any circumstance. So
For some groomers, and I
to watch with critical eyes.
read for a normal American person to decipher whether it was Trump's doing or whether it was something set up by the other side. So you can't always believe what you see on the news because you're not getting both sides of the story. And honestly, right now, you're not even getting the truth. And that's what's sad is that there are older Americans, there are Americans who don't want to see the truth. There are Americans that just don't flat out like Donald Trump at all. So therefore, they're going to believe the other side.
And I see a lot of this that the media sometimes there's a lot of sensationalism where a
Yes.
story is not going to sell if they show certain.
He thought the jokes were very funny, so it worked out.
So as I told you, I've been living in Norway for 21 years of my life. I
Mhm,
am often the only black person everywhere, right?
mhm,
So oftentimes I'm the only black person that people know. I
yeah.
am the black friend, I'm their first and only black teacher. So
I'm
I
sorry,
almost
just
feel like if I do
I'm sorry.
something wrong,
my- I'm sorry, that was Rolo making his debut. Go ahead. Only black person in the room.
so I feel sometimes that I have a responsibility. If I do something right, wow, but if I do something wrong, then I am the representative of that entire race to a whole group of people. Do you feel that there is that burden on every black person when they're succeeding at something that they are the only black person or the first black person, or do you feel the pressure to represent?
Absolutely. I feel like that's something that black people are constant. I mean, that's a constant for us. So it's not even anything that I don't even know that I know when I'm feeling it and when I'm not, because I just know consciously when I'm leaving my apartment that I am representing. If I do something crazy, then it's black people this, black people that. I think the first time that I was really conscious about it, I mean, I've known obviously, but um, when I was working for Royal Caribbean, when I was working on the cruise ship, it then hit me, that I was with people who truly, because I don't know if you've ever been on a cruise, but most of your staff on a cruise ship are not American. They're from everywhere else. So with that being said, it's one thing if I leave out of my apartment right now and I run into a Spanish person on the street, they're 9 times out of 10 a Spanish American. They've been here. So they know our nuances, they know our intricacies, they know the yeses and the nos.
All right, so I want to welcome our
People obsess over guns. There are more guns in the United States than there are people, which is kind of wild when you think about that. So I wish there was more restrictions on people owning a gun, getting access to a gun. I wish that some of the weapons, like assault weapons, were not legal